guys, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year! Today I'm ringing in the new year with a marker review. So I've reviewed Milo's brush markers, the regular kind, and it was a 24 count set and I wasn't so impressed. If you're interested, you can go ahead and check that out in my video list. So, Milo themselves reached out to me and wanted to send me their Milo Pro markers. So I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So this is the Milo Pro brush marker pack. It is also the 24 count set. Different colors from the regular brush markers that I bought from them on Amazon. Same packaging though. The only difference is that with this packaging, it includes the Pro lettering. All right, so here are the markers. We've got the triangular sort of barrel, Milo Pro Art Marker. The caps have the bubbling like the others did. We've got chisel nib on this side. The caps are still a little difficult to take off, but not too incredibly hard. Now we've got our brush. We've got the brush nib. There we go. All right. Looks nice. And so I'm excited to color swatch these. I went ahead and I made my own color swatch sheet of the 24 count pack. I listed the colorless blender. It'd be pointless to swatch it, but I wanted to put it there to still show that there are 24 different markers. I don't really use the colorless blender that much, but I do sometimes like to blend out some markers when the color's too harsh. It kind of takes away that vibrancy to give you a softer feel. So go ahead and start with the second color, color number 4. That cap was a little easier. All right. So these nibs are definitely a lot softer and spongier than their regular pack, which is good. Like that, I'm really happy with because from my initial reaction from their regular brush marker pack, I was super shocked at how incredibly stiff the brush nibs were. It was truly almost as stiff as a chisel nib. So far, I really do like the color selection that they have for this 24 count pack. I mean, it's really difficult to put together a good selection of 24 colors, but so far what they have that I've color swatched seems pretty good. I love the additions of these two colors, 139 and 143. I was a little nervous with the other ones because there's just so many dark and vibrant colors, but I'm glad that they included this 139, which is kind of like a soft pink, and this 143, which is a pretty soft blue. There's also this lime green. I feel like it's going to be, yeah, it's a softer color, not as soft as 139, but definitely much softer than 51 and 56 greens. And then my only gripe about their grays is that I do wish they included more variation with how dark the grays are. So basically I have a CG5, a BG5, and a WG5. So the values are all the same in a sense, but the tint is just slightly different. CG being cool gray, BG being blue gray, and WG being warm gray. So I kind of wish they did more of a CG1 and a BG3 and a WG5. That way there's just variation in values as well. And that's that. So these are all 24 colors swatched out. And now I'm going to go ahead and try a little bit of blending. So I'm going to go with my blues. And of course, it's just so much more easier to blend within the same color family. So I've got my lightest blue up here. I'm going to put my darkest blue, which is 62. It's actually marine blue. Put it down here. And then I've got this ice blue that I'm going to connect the two colors with. And I'm just flicking up with my mid color and then going back to my lightest color and just flicking down. And I try and work quickly so that the ink isn't too dry so that I can create a much better seamless sort of blend. And there we go. The blending's really good. I feel like it's very seamless going from this really dark 62 color to the 65 in the middle, all the way to this 143, which is my lightest mint blue color. And I think it handled it pretty well. These markers do run on the Shinhan Touch Twin ink, which is probably why it blends as well as it does. The other thing is that the caps do stack really easily too. So I definitely wanted to mention that, which is the same as their regular ones as well. All right, and so I'm going to be coloring in this original character of mine. She was originally a gemsona that I created from Steven Universe, but I think I just might make her into a regular original character rather than based off of a cartoon series. And so her skin is a pinkish sort of color. So I'm using the 139 color, which is that really, really soft pink. Kind of put down a base. And of course, these markers are non-refillable, and that's pretty typical of cheaper marker brands. But with most cheaper marker brands, despite being non-refillable, you can refill them with Shinhan Touch Twin ink. And that's because most of the cheaper marker brands run on the Shinhan color system. So that can be a convenient time and money saver for those who don't exactly want to rebuy the whole set, especially for those who don't like the waste that is involved with some of the cheaper markers with the whole rebuying thing. So that's an option. And the color selection here really worked out for this character. In my last video, I pretty much had to choose colors that I didn't feel quite fit the character, but that was because my color selection was just so minimal. Whereas this one, it just so happened that I picked an original character who has the color scheme that's included in this 24 count pack. So that's lucky. The best thing so far is I haven't had any fraying of the nib just yet, which was a problem that I had previously with the regular ones. But being that these are a tidbit more expensive than the regular ones, the quality of the nib is much better. So I feel like no fraying is to be expected. And I'm not 100% sure what the nib is made out of. I feel like the previous one, the regular brush marker one, may have been made out of pure felt. Again, I'm not entirely too sure, but I think that added to the nib fraying pretty quickly, along with the fact that the previous brush marker nib was extremely stiff, whereas this one has a lot more bendability to it, so that makes a difference. I feel the stiffness in the previous one added to how quickly it ended up fraying from just one use. The only thing is I'm experiencing some ink just getting everywhere with this one. I'm not sure what's going on with that. It's pooling a little bit in this cap, and it's getting all over my fingers. That's not really an issue unique to Milo. It sometimes happens with other brands too. It's just annoying when it does happen. Okay, I'm gonna do her skirt in green. Another issue that could also lead to brush nibs fraying is the texture of the paper. This paper that I'm using here is the Express It blending cards in size 8.5 by 11, and they're really, really smooth. So that also kind of added to my concern of the previous marker because of how quickly it was fraying and my paper was extremely smooth. So I couldn't understand that. Usually some artists do color with watercolor paper, which sometimes has a pretty rough texture and can lead to nib damage quite quickly. And it also just really drinks up the ink of your marker pretty fast. Plus, it's hard to print on watercolor paper. This is more of a me issue. I like this paper the best because it's printer paper size and it doesn't have a whole bunch of thickness to it. So I'm able to put it through my printer and print out all tons of things. So this character I drew up in Paint Tool Sai digitally, and that's how I do a lot of my works, not all of them, but I find it enjoyable to color traditionally and draw digitally. Well, draw line art digitally. The ink flow is also really good. So far, all the markers are very juicy, and that's important because it makes it easier to blend two colors together so that the ink sort of mixes when wet and you just have an easier time overall. Wonder if I can effectively make this glow. I don't know. So it's supposed to be like a lantern, but it's also my character's weapon. So I'm trying to make the middle as light as possible and then go around the edges with a darker color. I think I sort of achieved a glowy effect. Let me blend it out a bit with my lightest yellow. There. it looks glowy-ish. And then finally the hair, which is pretty much my favorite part. So I'm starting out with my darkest pink because her hair is also pink, but it's going to be a much more vivid pink than I did for her skin. And then I start going from the roots of her hair and then just kind of flicking out in the direction of her hair. And then I go down a section to where her hair would be dark again, I guess you could say. And I start flicking up. And sometimes I'll connect it all the way through. There we go. And then I'll get my lighter pinkish color and start doing the highlighted areas. And then I still got some white left here. I'm going to use my even lightest color, which is the 139, to fill in those areas. And voila, I've got the first section of my hair done. And I pretty much just repeat the process until I finish it all over. And of course, can't forget the shinies. Despite having highlights already, I still like to add these. And adding shinies doesn't make a huge difference, but I just feel like it's a nice finishing touch. And then I also just like to add designs to like the skirt and her shirt. And that's that. So I had a lot of fun with these. They are a huge improvement over their regular brush markers. I had no fraying nibs. The nibs were more flexible, and the color selection in this 24 count pack was much better. That being said, my only issue is that these are not the same as the regular ones. This is the Pro pack. And so basically that just means better quality marker. However, the pricing of these for just the 24 count is $44.90, which is slightly less than double what I paid for the other brush markers, which was $24.90 for the 24 count. So there's definitely a trade-off here. Like, yes, you get much, much better markers, but you're going to pay a good percentage more, as each marker comes to about $1.80. So that can be, a bit more expensive for the artist who is also trying to save money. So that would be my only issue. Other than that, I really love them, and I'm glad I got to try them out. So if you enjoyed this video, maybe comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye!